Sophia will tell the story of how I reclaimed my life and put an end to my husband Xander's toxic influence. For privacy reasons, I'll be using pseudonyms. As a prominent lawyer in my state, maintaining anonymity is essential. There's no need to dwell on how Xander and I fell in love, got married, and ultimately divorced. The love, it turned out, was never truly mutual. Xander's infidelity made that painfully clear. The signs were obvious: his growing distance, excessive time away, and an increasing number of business trips. Despite my success as a lawyer, he dismissed me as a failure simply because I earned less than him. One day, during yet another one of his supposed trips, I decided to investigate. On his old laptop, I found a secret Facebook account, proof of my suspicions. He was cheating. The woman was stunning, the kind of beauty he always claimed I lacked. He had often criticized my appearance, and now, staring at undeniable evidence of his betrayal, I felt the sting of every cruel remark he had ever thrown my way. Furious and heartbroken, I confronted him the moment he returned. "Xander, are you cheating on me? I have proof." He barely flinched. Instead, he exhaled, as if relieved. "Sophia, you're just not that interesting anymore. You bury yourself in pointless cases and neglect me. And let's be honest, you're no supermodel." The words hit like a slap. "What are you talking about, Xander? I have a demanding career, and you knew that when we got married. I haven't neglected you. You're the one who stopped coming home, who refused to communicate." Rather than show an ounce of remorse, he doubled down, blaming me for his affair. His accusations were baseless, and I called him out on it, but instead of defending himself, his expression turned cold. Then, with startling ease, he revealed the truth. "Good that you found out. I don't have to hide my beautiful girlfriend anymore. She and I will have a perfect life together after I divorce you. Finally, I'll marry someone worthy of my name." The room seemed to tilt. The man I had devoted years of my life to stood before me, not only unrepentant but gloating, as if I had been nothing but an inconvenience, a stepping stone to someone he deemed better. Tears blurred my vision. "How can you say that? I stood by you through everything. I honored my vows. It doesn't matter." He cut me off, his voice laced with condescension. "I've outgrown you. I'm a successful business owner now, and a woman with average looks and a pretentious law degree won't do me any good." I felt like I couldn't breathe. "So, that's it? You're really divorcing me?" He scoffed. "I'm not contemplating it, Sophia. I've already decided. I hired a lawyer. You should start packing. I don't want to see your ugly face in my house anymore." Hours later, as if to twist the knife, Xander didn't even deliver the divorce papers himself. He sent them through a friend, a man who couldn't quite meet my eyes as he handed them over. I took the envelope, shut the door, and let the weight of everything crash down on me. I had wasted years on a cruel, self-absorbed man, but as the tears fell, something inside me shifted. I would not let this break me. I was stronger than that. Then, Xander's friend let something slip. He said he might drag this out, just to wear you down. At first, I didn't understand, and then it hit me: the prenup. Xander had been so confident when we signed it, insisting that if he ever cheated, I'd be entitled to half of his business. He had laughed at the idea, swearing he'd never betray me. Now, he was trying to stall, hoping I'd walk away without a fight. Not a chance. Determined, I called his lawyer and scheduled a meeting. 2 days later, I packed my things and moved into my childhood home, the one in my name. Then, I sent Xander a text. "I've moved out. Took my ugly face and pretentious law degree with me." His response came swiftly: "Glad you're not making a fuss," followed by a smug remark about his lawyer's reputation. I smirked, feeling a new fire within me. "I'm not giving up my share of the business. From now on, you'll deal with my lawyers." His next message dripped with arrogance: "I don't want to talk to you. Empty your junk from my house." His words should have hurt. Instead, they fueled me. It was almost laughable how little he understood who he was up against. He had no idea what was coming. A few days later, I met with his lawyer, Jake, at a cafe. The moment I walked in, he went pale. At first, his hands trembled slightly until recognition set in, and he tried to compose himself. He had expected a nameless, powerless ex-wife. Instead, he got me. "Hello, Jake," I greeted smoothly. "Let's get something straight. I am Xander's wife." His Adam's apple bobbed. "Ma'am, the surnames don't match because I kept my maiden name professionally," I clarified, watching realization dawn on his face. Jake hesitated, then muttered, "So I assume you're here to stall the case? That's what my client implied. I leaned forward slightly, voice firm. Your client is mistaken. He's the one trying to delay things. But let me assure you, this divorce will proceed on my terms, and I will claim what's rightfully mine. Jake swallowed hard. He had underestimated me. They all had. But this was only the beginning. And I had every intention of winning. Jake fidgeted under my gaze, clearly uncomfortable. I wasn't one to waste time with pleasantries. You don't have to answer that, Jake. I've known Xander for over a decade. I married him, for God's sake. I know exactly what's going through that thick skull of his. I could see the unease in his eyes, so I decided to give him a bit of clarity. Since I know you, and because this isn't fair to you, I'll fill you in on the truth about this divorce. Jake blinked, his surprise palpable. What do you mean, ma'am? I leaned in, eyes sharp. Did your dear client happen to mention he cheated on me? Jake's face shifted, he was taken aback, and I could tell that the news hit him harder than he expected. His expression gave it away, confirming my suspicions. I won't lie, it stung a little to admit I'd been betrayed. Telling this to a colleague didn't sit well, but I knew better than to let my emotions slip. I was in control now. Jake, on the other hand, had no idea what was coming. Oh, no, I don't think he's mentioned that, Jake stammered, but he did say you'd probably make baseless accusations to ruin him. I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Poor thing, Jake, your client's playing you like a violin. But hey, it might comfort you to know that Xander thinks you're one of the best lawyers in town. Well, that's quite a compliment, Jake said, his voice tight, but I'll never measure up to you, ma'am. His words were sincere, though slightly apologetic. I wish he'd told me his wife was a lawyer. He only mentioned you worked at a firm. My laugh was sharp, a little bitter. Xander never took my achievements seriously. He's always tried to undermine my work. But, you know, it was smart to sign that prenup. I'll give myself credit for that. The word prenup hit Jake like a punch. His face drained of color. I could see the realization setting in. Xander had conveniently left that out, hoping I'd forgotten about it, or that Jake wouldn't dig deep enough to uncover it. Too bad for him. I wasn't as naive as he thought. There's a prenup? Jake asked, his voice low with surprise. I didn't know about that. Do you have proof, ma'am? Proof? I asked, feigning surprise. Oh, I have plenty of proof, Jake. I brought it all with me. I casually opened my handbag, pulling out the divorce papers, the photos, the messages, everything I'd gathered, proof of his betrayal, of his lies. Jake flipped through the papers, his expression shifting from disbelief to resignation. He finally sighed, looking up at me. I see you've got everything, ma'am. I had no idea about any of this. I folded my arms, allowing him a moment to process. I figured as much. And I understand how difficult it is when you're dealing with an unreliable client. It's not like you can control what he tells you. Jake nodded silently. You're right about that, ma'am. I think that's all I need for now. I'll need to speak to my client before moving forward with the case. Someone will be in touch, but it probably won't be me. I could sense his hesitation, and I didn't press. I thanked him for his time and left the cafe, feeling a calm resolve settle over me. I walked back to the office, pulling together my own strategy for the divorce. Any lingering sadness I felt earlier had been replaced by something far stronger, rage, and I was determined to make sure Xander suffered the consequences of his actions. As expected, Xander didn't take long to get back to me. He called my number. Despite insisting that I stay away from him, I couldn't help but laugh a little. He'd walked right into this, and now he was scrambling. I answered the phone, and his voice came through, seething. What the hell did you tell my lawyer, Sophia? Ah, Xander, so good to hear from you after telling me to stay away. What happened with your lawyer? Stop playing games. Tell me what you said that made him quit today. I smiled, knowing exactly where this was headed. Your lawyer quit today? How unfortunate. I guess it's hard when you're not upfront about your situation, huh? You don't know what you're talking about. You're a nobody. I won't let you take my family business from me. I could feel his anger radiating through the phone. Oh, I'd love to see you try, Xander. I'll hire a better lawyer, someone who can actually take you down. You'll come crawling back to me begging for mercy. His voice was filled with a dangerous kind of certainty. Well, sounds like a plan, Xander. Good luck with that. But here's a tip, make sure your new lawyer knows about the affair and the prenup. Xander's response was swift. He hung up on me, the line going dead with a sharp click. I chuckled, knowing how deep in trouble he was. He could try every lawyer in town, but it wouldn't change a thing. No one was stupid enough to take on someone with as much power and influence as I had. I knew he would be back, after all. It was only a matter of time before he came crawling. And sure enough, I was right. One morning, while I was preparing for work, I heard a knock on my door. It was an odd hour for anyone to be dropping by, so I opened it, confused. My breath caught in my throat when I saw who was standing there, my soon-to-be ex-husband. Looking weary and defeated, Xander stood in my doorway. I didn't even blink as I stepped aside to let him in. I wasn't in the mood for a scene, and I certainly wasn't going to let him embarrass me in front of anyone outside. Once inside, I crossed my arms and gave him a cold look. Make it quick, Xander, I don't have time to waste. We were supposed to talk through our lawyers. So, what is it? What are you even doing here? He ran a hand through his disheveled hair, frustration evident. Yeah, about that. I haven't found a good divorce lawyer yet. I couldn't help but let out a small, incredulous laugh. Oh, that's unfortunate. Xander, you better hurry up, though. I hear your mistress is eagerly waiting for you to marry her. I'm not worried about her anymore, he muttered, barely looking at me. Listen, Sophia, we need to talk. You've been sabotaging my lawyers, preventing them from taking my case. That's unfair. The sheer audacity of him, blaming me for his mess, was almost too much to bear. I let out a short, mocking laugh. Oh, that's rich. Let me correct your little misunderstanding. I haven't sabotaged anything. It's your own stupidity that's making things fall apart. I don't get it. What did I even do? He asked, genuinely confused. Should I remind you how you lied to your lawyers about the affair and the prenup? That's enough to make them look like fools in court. What lawyer would willingly represent someone as unreliable as you? My name carries weight, Xander. You might see me as just the wife, but in this world, I'm someone people take seriously. He groaned. I know that now, Sophia. I've tried being honest with lawyers, but none of them will take me on. Well, that's what happens when you try to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and go against an ironclad prenup. You really should have thought your affair through, don't you think? I leaned in slightly, but it's too late now. The damage is done. No sane lawyer is going to take your side. You'll be giving me half of your business, Xander. I could practically see the color drain from his face. His expression betrayed everything. He didn't want to lose his precious business. That's why he'd dragged his feet for so long, trying to delay the inevitable. But no amount of pleading or lawyers was going to change anything now. Please, Sophia, he said, his voice cracking. You don't have to do this. You can take everything else, just don't take my business. Why not, Xander? You're the one who put a clause in the prenup that divides the business in case of infidelity. Did you really think I'd just walk away without claiming what's rightfully mine? He looked almost panicked now, eyes wide with desperation. It was a mistake, Sophia. You have to believe me. I'll cut off my mistress. Let's put this behind us. Maybe we can even try again. I swear, I'll make it right. His words were a pathetic attempt to make amends, but I wasn't moved. Instead, I couldn't help but laugh again, loudly. Are you serious right now, Xander? You want to get back together after everything? After everything you've done? You're just worried about the business, aren't you? Sophia, we had something good. We were happy. Let's just forget this and start fresh. I'll do anything, he begged, his voice desperate. There's no us left, Xander, trust me. That woman you're so desperate to please is going to be long gone once she realizes you're no longer rich. She'll leave you in the dust, just like everyone else does when the money's gone. As for me, I'm finally free of this sham of a marriage. I must thank you for showing your true colors before we ever had children. I said nothing more after that. Xander continued to beg, his words growing more pitiful, but I remained unmoved. All I could think of was the countless nights I had spent crying myself to sleep because of his betrayal. Seeing him grovel now only served to satisfy my need for justice. I had won. 4 weeks. He tried to change my mind. I ignored him completely, refusing to give him any of my attention. I had no interest in his drama. I was finally ready to leave that chapter behind and move on. Eventually, after weeks of fruitless attempts, he was forced to hire a lawyer and request a clean break. He knew that if I took the case to court, he'd face public humiliation, and there was no way out. The prenup worked in my favor, and my proof of his affair sealed the deal. Xander had no choice but to give me half of the business. At first, he resisted, but after being presented with a buyout offer that he couldn't afford, he had no option left. He signed everything over. Now, you might be wondering, how could a successful businessman like Xander be so broke? Well, It turns out he had spent everything he had on his mistress, who had long since stopped answering his calls. She'd figured out he wasn't rich anymore, and now, no one wanted anything to do with her. Karma, it seemed, had a perfect way of working itself out. As for Xander, he sold his mansion to pay off some of his debts and now lives in a small condo, a far cry from the luxurious life he had grown used to. He even tried reaching out to me again, hoping for another chance to regain control of his business, but that wasn't going to happen. He was stuck. I either continue on as is or try to buy me out, which seemed unlikely given his situation. As for me, I'm doing great. I appointed someone to manage my share of the business, and so far, everything has been more than I could ask for. I upgraded my lifestyle, bought a new mansion, and with my law practice and business profits, I'm finally living the life I always deserved. I couldn't be happier. The divorce was my golden opportunity. I didn't just get away, I thrived. Xander and his mistress? Well, they can deal with the consequences of their actions. For me, this was the ultimate payoff.